Hey y'all, welcome to 2025. In this video, I'm going to be sharing my top 5 tips on how I stay in shape. Before I get into the top 5 tips, let's start with some disclaimers. Disclaimer number 1, I am not a doctor or a medical practitioner. Do speak to a medical professional before you start any sort of workout routine, exercise regimen, or change in your diet. I'm also not a personal trainer. This is just my advice based on what works for me. Just because it works for me does not mean that it's going to work for you. Also, along with that, I am someone that grew up playing sports. I grew up playing soccer. Specifically, I was a goalie. I also grew up playing basketball and I ran track for a little bit. Because of that, the routine of working out and lifting weights is not something that is new to me or foreign to me. It was something that I've been doing since I was a small child, and I've just had to continue to incorporate it into my adult life. So, with that being said, if you are someone who does not have that experience of knowing what it's like to have a structured practice, a structured workout session, you may need to speak to a professional to help you with that. I don't need that because I grew up working out and I know what works for me, what does not work for me. I know how to structure a workout plan and, I'm good to go. Along those same lines, I'm also someone that grew up eating healthy. I have a previous video where I go into my lineage and I share my 23andMe DNA results. And my West Indian family, we grew up eating very healthy. My grandmother had a garden at the side of our house. We would eat plantain and peas and rice. And our diet was full of healthy fruits, vegetables, and all of that. So eating healthy also is not something that I find difficult. It's also not something that, I'm starting from scratch with. If you are someone that need help with those areas as well, you may need to seek the help of a registered dietitian or someone like that can help you with a structured plan. So now that I got the disclaimers out of the way, let's get into tip number 1. So tip number 1 is to start slow. If you are going from a sedentary lifestyle where you are not exercising at all, it is not advisable to go from 0 to 100. You are going to be putting yourself at increased risk of injury. So I would work out for maybe 2 to 3 times a week when I first started for no more than 1 hour. And I would do exercises like treadmill incline. So maybe a 7% incline or even a 10% incline, but going at a steady pace, not doing any sort of high intensity exercise like sprint intervals. Nothing like that when you have not been working out. Like I already said, you're going to put yourself at risk of injury. The same thing with weights. Do not go from not lifting weights at all to trying to lift super heavy. That is also a bad idea. Just start off slow, and over time, your body is going to get stronger and more fit, where you can incorporate more intense exercises. Tip number 2 is to do physical activities that you enjoy. I personally like the gym. I like going to the gym. I like lifting weights. I like running on the treadmill, doing sprint intervals on the treadmill. I enjoy that. But if you are someone that does not like going to the gym, do what you enjoy. I mentioned earlier that I grew up playing sports. I grew up playing soccer and basketball and running track. So if you are also someone that grew up playing sports and that's something that you still enjoy, maybe finding at your local rec center or leisure center if they have pickup basketball or soccer, things like that you'll enjoy. I also used to really be into yoga, like around the time that I was living in Houston, Texas. Shout out to H-Town. I had a membership at a hot yoga studio. I absolutely love it. So you have to find what works for you, because then you'll enjoy it, you'll look forward to doing it, and then you'll stick with it. So that is tip number 2. Tip number 3 is to maintain a healthy, balanced diet. So I already made a video where I go into more details about what I eat, but you can go back and watch that. But what I mean is to limit the processed foods that you are having and eating more whole foods. So I'm not saying never eat processed foods. I eat processed foods, but I don't eat those foods every day. I don't eat those foods at every meal. I have it as a cheat day, or like, if I just am really craving something. But day in and day out, I focus on eating the rainbow. I focus on eating whole foods, real foods, foods like bananas or leafy greens, this green banana, tomatoes. By actually eating whole foods rather than processed foods, what you'll find is that you'll feel fuller longer and you'll have less snacking in between meals. And like I said earlier, I find like fruits and vegetables and healthy foods delicious, and it's easy for me to like maintain a healthy diet. If that's something that you struggle with, then you are going to need to find ways to incorporate healthy foods into your diet. But if you are going to the gym 3, 4, 5 days a week, but then you're eating highly processed foods, or you're eating fast food 2, 3 times a day, you're not going to see the results. You have to balance the workouts with a healthy diet in order to really, really get yourself into the best shape that you're trying to get into. And for me, incorporating foods like this, real foods, whole foods, is the way to go. So tip number 4 is to track your progress. So even though I grew up playing sports and all of that, it wasn't until I started my current routine that I also started to track my progress. So I track my progress in several ways. The first way is by taking pictures. Oftentimes, even if you are tracking your weight, like by weighing yourself once a week or however many times a week works for you, sometimes what is on the scale does not reflect your progress. But by taking pictures, you can see that your face is slimming out, or your arms are more toned, or your legs are more toned. So that is one way to track your progress. I also wear a Fitbit. So not only does my Fitbit track my steps every day, I try to hit 10K steps every day. Sometimes I'm hitting more, sometimes I'm hitting a bit less if it's a rest day, but the goal every day is at least 10K steps. I also use my Fitbit to track how much water I'm drinking and to track my food. To be honest, I'm not really obsessed with calories, but I do track it to see how much protein I'm getting versus fats and carbs, more or less. But I'm not really too obsessive about staying really restrictive with my calories or anything like that, because my goal is not to lose weight. I'm at a good weight. I'm at a healthy weight. My goal is to get in the best shape of my life. I want to be physically fit. That means cardiovascular strength, as well as muscle definition and like being able to lift heavy. So those are my goals. So when you are tracking your progress, it is going to be dependent upon what your personal goals are. But I have found that taking pictures and wearing my Fitbit are 2 ways that have been really beneficial with keeping me on track and helping me make sure that I'm making whatever reasonable adjustments I need in order to help me reach my goal. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, tip number 5 is to be consistent. Now, I know the mug is giving, very much so barely 30, but I will be 41 this year. And one of the reasons why I look, so young and so healthy is part of it is genetics. I didn't have nothing to do with that. But the other part of it is I have been consistent. I have been consistent with my exercise routine. I have been consistent with my diet. And I can honestly say that I am in the best shape of my life. Even though I have pre-existing health conditions and all of that, I am still fit. I am still strong, and I'm only getting stronger. And it's because I have been consistent. No matter if I am tired, no matter how busy I am, I make it my business to get in the gym. I make it my business to incorporate fruit and vegetables into my diet every day, particularly leafy green vegetables. Every day, no excuses. And it has paid off dividends for me. Because, baby, if you see me in real life, when you see me on the YouTube screens, you would not guess that I'm 40 years old. Your girl is looking, it's giving late 20s. It's giving maybe 30. But it's not giving that I'm a 40-year-old woman, soon to be 41 years old. And part of it, aside from my genetics, is that I have been consistent with my food, consistent with my exercise. And that is the only way that you'll really, truly see progress. And with that being said, even though I was taking photos and tracking myself so I could see like, oh, my legs look thinner or my arms look more toned, it really wasn't until I hit like 1 year, the 1 year mark of being consistent with everything, that I was like, it's given. It's given. Like, did you play soccer in college? Were you on the basketball team in college? Like, it's giving like I'm physically fit. Like, I look fit in my clothes. And the only way that I was able to achieve that and continue to achieve that is by being consistent. Yes, it's hard. Life is gonna life. Adulting life is going to continue to adult, but you cannot make excuses. You just cannot. Or you can, and you're just not gonna reach your goals. It's up to you. So what I have found that works for me is I like to work out first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. So I like to get up around 5:30, maybe 6, and get to the gym before 6:30 with all of the other gym rats. I don't find working out on an empty stomach exhausting. Because I like to run, I specifically like to run about a mile before I even get into my workout. I don't like running with food on my stomach. It makes me feel queasy if I eat and then try to run. So this works for me. But as I said in one of my disclaimers, this may not work for you. You got to figure out what works for you. But by getting up early and getting my workout out of the way, I find that I don't have excuses after that. Because 9 times out of 10, if I try to work out after work, I ain't going. And the reason why I ain't going is am I at the gym or am I at the club? Is this happy hour or what's going on here? The gym after 5 is complete madness. You can't get in on any equipment. It's the gym bros and the girls in the groups, and I'm here to work out. What's all this? What is all of this? And in the morning, I have found that it is not all of that mess going on. It's people that's on their grind about their business like your girl. We are focused. We are here for 1 hour, maybe a bit longer. Get it done and get out. So you have to figure out a way to be consistent. And since I already know it is very unlikely that I'm going to go to the gym after a long day of work, I have to find another option. And the option that I have found that works for me is working out first thing in the morning. So, are you on a fitness journey? Jump down in the comments and let me know. Hopefully you found this video helpful and informative, that you can take some of my tips and incorporate it into your routine. And I will see you next time. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I post new videos every Monday. Peace, y'all.